Alright, so we got this thing back together yesterday. My converter came in about at morning time or something like that. And I'd already gotten everything ready to go, so when it got here I could get it back together. And I got my drive shaft the day before, and it's a one-piece drive shaft. And since this transmission was out of a 2500 HD, the 6L90, it has a slip yoke. And then I bought a Sonax 3-bolt to 1350 U-joint adapter, and then he made the piece to connect the two, the drive shaft. And then it's 3.5-inch tube. So it's a pretty nice piece. The guy's 66 years old. He's been building drive shafts longer than I've been alive. And very smart, very knowledgeable. I told him, exactly what I was doing in the car, the weight, the power, that sort of thing. So I think he used to drag race some pretty fast stuff back in the day. So he's been making drive shafts for me for years. But like I say, he got it done. He's about an hour away. Drove and picked it up in the EcoBoost, and then made sure it fit and everything, because I still had the transmission and all in from mock-up. So I pulled that out, so as soon as I got the converter, I can get it all back together. Put a TCI flex plate in it, nice piece. And I forgot to get the tune file off of the 6L80 over here. I forgot to read the file off of it that Michael had put on it to put to this one. So typically you read, that you have to swap the transmission control module from the one that came out of the car to the one you're putting in it. And I was talking to Michael about it, and he told me all you had to do was read the file from that one and do a right entire to this one. So I forgot to do it before I got it all apart, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, wait a minute, the TCM's in the thing, so I had to put the transmission on my transmission jack and roll it under the car and jack it up under the car where the 6L90 was in it and plug it into the 6L80 so I could read the file out of it, and then plug it into the 6L90 and then do a right entire. So I got that done, and then got it filled with fluid just now, and boy, it is super, super quiet. I love how quiet it is now. It's got the exhaust I got from Daytona for $200. It was off of a Camaro, and the thing is the Camaro exhaust, I guess since they're such shorter in the back, it comes up and turns, and right where it turns, I just cut the tip off and was able to put my old mufflers back on there. And so now it has 4 mufflers under there. You can see the round one right there, and then the Flowmaster FX right here. So it laid out really well and super quiet. I like these tips fit the holes a lot better in my opinion than the round. Those are off of a BMW X5, and then I cut and modified them to fit a 3-inch because they're 2.5. So I fixed those, got that on there. Really, really quiet. I really was happy with how quiet it is. And the only thing I'm waiting on now is the daggone bolts for the drive shaft are a fine thread, and I don't have anything. I've been looking around trying to find some, because this is too long, because it had that rubber biscuit for the old drive shaft. So I've got to find this thread and a much shorter bolt. So I'm probably about to go try to start the bolt hunt on that. But changed oil in it. Went ahead and changed oil in it, just because I like to always have good, fresh, clean oil in them. They don't even get 3,000 miles on them before I change the oil, just because I just like to keep fresh, clean oil in them. Especially on something like this. And so everything went together good with the 6L90. The turbos fit back in there just fine. And the shift linkage from the car hooked back up to the shifter and everything. All that worked out good. The plug's the same. The transmission line piece that I had welded the dash 6 fittings to, it bolted back on just fine. So really the big thing that needed from the 80 to the 90 swap is the cross member and the drive shaft. And the cars have that flange style 3-bolt, 6-bolt flange thing. So, you know, since this one's out of a truck, it just has I think it's a 36 spline yoke or something. It's a AAM makes it or something. It's a 1410 U-joint, but I don't know exactly. He was telling me, but I wasn't aware that they have different thickness snap rings for the yoke, so you can actually play with shimming the yoke with those snap rings. I didn't know that, but like I say, I mean, he's got all that stuff. He's got a big long machine, a lathe basically, that he sets everything up on and balances. He's very meticulous in how he builds his stuff. That's why I wanted him to build the one for this car, because he's just so knowledgeable and been doing it so long. And then I talked to him about the Jeep one, so hopefully the transmission will be done for the Jeep one in the next day or two. So once I get this out of here, I'll get the Jeep in here, get the Turbo 350 out. I got to do the slip yoke delete, or however you call it. It gets rid of makes it where it's not a slip yoke, and it has a circle flange on it. So I have to do that to the 241 transfer case, and his front drive shaft on that one. Mike told me how to check the splines on it, and they're wore out. So he said that he figured it probably was, and he'd be ordering parts soon. So he's gonna go ahead and get that. Once I get it in here, get everything in there for mock-up, or well, it won't be mock-up because I'll have the built transmission with the transfer case and all, put it all together, get my measurements for Mike, and then get those going. But he's having eye surgery coming up, so I'm gonna really try to get it done before he has that eye surgery, so he can get it done before that. But it's funny, his name's Mike too, so this one's built by Michael, tuned by Michael, and the drive shaft's done by Michael, so it's kind of funny. I only deal with Michael. But anyway, I'm really excited about this thing. I'm happy it's all back together. I ordered a converter in November. It just got here yesterday. I took the drive shaft to Mike in December 11th, and then I just got it, I think it was one day this week. But, you know, like I say, with the holidays, everybody's busy. Everybody wants to, you know, relax. I get it, you know. I mean, it's a well-deserved break. So, you know, now we're back together, got it going. I'll find those bolts for the drive shaft, and then I got to put my cutouts in on it, the boost activated cutouts. And I was looking at manifold discharge from plenum from the turbos. That's the 2-into-1 under the car. It has a port that I can tap into to run my reference to the cutout, so that'll work out perfect. And then, like I say, then the boost activated cutout, once I get into boost, then they'll open, so it should be a nice repeatable operation, so Michael can tune it, you know, and correct because I'm sure it's going to change the fueling with the cutouts open, and it should put down a lot more power. Like I said, there was another guy that had a similar setup, had a 3-inch exhaust, full 3-inch exhaust, and he just ran probably maybe some 2-foot pipe sections off the turbos with turn downs, and he said he picked up 66 wheel horsepower. just from the restriction from all that exhaust, and now we're going to be worse because we got 4 mufflers. But I'm really happy with how quiet it is. It's very quiet, very tame, and very mild. So, if you can drive around like that, and then when you stand on it, have all the power, I mean, that's the best of both worlds. But the EcoBoost doing real well so far. I saw the brush guard off of it last night. A guy came from about an hour and a half away and got it. And so far, I mean, I really like it. The truck runs well, drives well. I found a place online that a lot of the EcoBoost guys use. That one guy that does the EcoBoost tunes. Like every other car group, the one guy that tunes Caprices, the one guy that tunes Marauders, the one guy that tunes EcoBoost. That guy, I found that guy for the EcoBoost. So he uses that SCT thing, but I found on their website that they offer an HP tuner thing, and since I already own HP tuners, I think it's like $250 and then $10 for each additional tune, like an 87 tune, a 93 performance toe tune, and that sort of thing. So I want to go ahead and order that and get that flashed on the truck. But I want to do my exhaust on it and get my cold air intake. Banks has like a ram air intake tube and everything for it. I want to get on there, and like I say, I want to clean up the exhaust on it and get that done, and then get a tune, get the right size tires on it. And like I say, I really like the truck. It runs and drives well. It's so far it's getting pretty good fuel mileage. It is a nice truck. I mean, I know it has its problems. Everything does, So, but so far I've gotten so much more use, and it's such a better truck for me to have instead of that orange one. So, it was a mess. It was a disaster. I lost a lot of money on that deal. A lot of money. But, sometimes that's how it is, and you just got to cut your losses and move on. So, if I got something that I can use, and, that's a better benefit than having it and, just being stuck with something you can't use. So, but after I get this off the lift, then the EcoBoost will come in. I'm going to build an exhaust for it, and then since I don't have the transmission yet for the Jeep, I'll go ahead and do my truck's exhaust, get the Jeep in, and then we'll start on that. They did start on the engine on this thing. 2 of the cylinders had some bad scratches in it, so we're going to have to bore it and put pistons in it, but they are working on it, so hopefully this thing will be up soon and I can have this side of my shop back. Because I think this thing's been here probably a year or something waiting on all this stuff, but I'll be glad to get it going for him. I know he's anxious and ready for it to go, but and for good reason, but I want to see. I've never done an LSA setup, and I mean it's only going to be on a stock pulley setup and everything, so I'm expecting maybe 500 horsepower at the tire or something like that, depending on what cam they picked and the piston and compression and all that stuff. But I think it'll be plenty for this truck. These tires probably won't hook up too well, but anyway, that's where we're at. Happy to have this thing back together. Really glad how quiet and nice it sounds. And then I'm sure you probably want to hear it, because I got talking and forgot about it. But let's see. Let me squeeze in there. Yep. I'll take the key out because it dings. It'll settle out in a second. This blower surge. yeah, we'll get that cleaned up in the tune when we take it back down to Michael's. It's because it's cold, but that was idling fine once it got warmed up a second ago. So, but like I say, I'm really happy with how quiet it is, and can't wait to see how it does with a good converter in it and a good transmission and everything. Should really be able to put down the power now.